coming into view. Excuse me. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of the Six-0 podcast.
Let's go.
You're your host, the smartest guys in the room. My name's Walker.
Jordan. What's good?
And sorry, we're taking this remote today. So I went on a little trip up to Maine, and Jordan was in Charlotte and for the Georgia game. And we weren't able to meet this week, so we're trying something a little different, but this should only be, maybe every now and again.
Yeah, we got to do it for the fans out there. The show must go on.
So I guess speaking of Charlotte, Jordan, why don't you tell me a little bit about your experience, and we can start talking about Georgia's Week 1 win against number 3 Clemson.
Oh yeah, so drive sucked. First of all, I'm just getting that out of the way. Don't recommend it. The roads are terrible, so that was a pain. But when we actually got there, it was pretty cool. Saw LaMelo Ball. You started partying with him a little bit. Maybe not the partying part, but we did see him. So if you're watching LaMelo, if I was the creepy guy that was staring at you, that was me. So join the podcast. Yeah, join the podcast. But LaMelo being there was probably like the sixth most exciting thing. But let's fast forward it to the whole reason why I was there was Georgia Clemson, top 5 matchup. Dogs get the dub. Oh, yeah. Walker, I got an interesting stat for you, though.
What is it?
The UGA Clemson game had twice as many viewers as the NBA Finals. So college football still reigns supreme up in here. And we had so many people complaining about how crappy the game was and how boring it was. Well, you all watched it, so who's the real loser? Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. So
I think it's more of people were talking about how bad the offenses were, and I don't think enough people are talking about maybe how good both of the defenses were.
I want to touch on that real quick. I'm not one of those guys that likes to complain that be like, oh, the national media hates us. Yada, yada, yada. Blah, blah, blah. But Jesus, this whole week, all I hear is, what's wrong with Clemson? Clemson this, Clemson that, Clemson sucks, blah, blah, blah. How about you give us some credit, people? We had like 5 receivers out. JT Daniels is hurt. He might not even start tomorrow. And we still came out and got the dub. Like, come on, people. We also had our center hurt. We also got Tate Rutledge, who got hurt on the first drive, who's an freshman O lineman, redshirt freshman O lineman. How about you give us some credit, people? Like I see everybody putting us at number 2, which is cool. But I feel like that was more of like, oh, we got like the best win of the season. We got to do that. But it's like, give us some credit, people.
What we had to. We were throwing it to running backs, like screen passes, little bubbles to Kenny McIntosh and to a freshman tight end because we had no one else to throw to right now.
Oh yeah, during the game, I was complaining about how crappy the play calling was, but maybe it was because we had 0 receivers and JT was hurt.
I'd like to think. I mean, I feel like we've done this in the past where we've been like, wow, we sputtered in the beginning of the season. Let's just wait until we warm up, and then it never gets any better. But this year, I would really like to think that it was just, Monken was kind of playing with the card he was dealt. How about that? Mm-hmm. You can't really toss it downfield if you're throwing it to running backs all game.
And not to mention with the defense dominating with that. But with that Monken thing, so I don't know if you remember this, but on the Miles Murphy sack around midfield, we had a touchdown there. Lad, our good friend of the podcast, Lad McConkey, was wide open, and JT. Come on the podcast. He was wide open. JT looked like he was just about to throw. If he stuck in the pocket and just took the hit and threw that would have been a touchdown. But instead, he fell down. Now, who knows if that's because of his abs or whatever his problem is, or if he was just being a puss. But But so. Not to mention when the drive that we had the field goal, when we went to the goal line, he had Zeus on the check down, didn't throw it to him, instead threw it to like Brock Bowers, who had a great game, by the way, freshman receiver or freshman tight end, I mean. So there's a few missed opportunities, but I'm not one to complain. I'm taking the dub. I'm happy about it. The pick 6 was hype. I was freaking out. Savages want to play with Savages.
Your sixth favorite moment. I'm assuming the pick six was your first.
Oh, 100%.
Oh,
100%. I won't lie, on the Nolan Smith sack, I was pretty amped up, but
that was great.
when it hit the fourth quarter and it was 10-0, and I'm thinking, oh God, I'm like, how are we gonna screw this up?
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, how? I was looking at the score and I was thinking, in typical Georgia fashion, how is this game gonna end 17-10?
Yeah, and I'm thinking too, like, the worst part about it was, like, I'm thinking we should be up by more. We had a missed field goal. Like I said, I mentioned a few missed throws and everything. And then Clemson goes and gets a 3rd and 10, a big gain on a 3rd and 10. And I'm like, I was ready to just die. I was ready to accept it, but did not happen. Defense stepped up on that 4th down that they went for it. I said it during the game, but I'm surprised Dabo went for it there.
Oh, same. I
was
right
shocked.
when he did it, I was kind of like, that was stupid. The game's over, bro.
I don't know. Maybe he just thought that was like they weren't going to get they. I would have felt confident about getting the ball back. At least you could have pinned him deep and maybe got the spot same spot. But maybe he thought his defense was tired and Georgia was just going to run out the clock, which they did, I guess. But I was shocked that he went for it. Same. But everyone's freaking out about Clemson. I do have a question about this. Let's just say Clemson wins out and everything. How they're playing nobody. We'll talk about. We took a touch on this, but ACC took a big L last week with UNC losing. Georgia Tech lost to Northern Illinois. Miami got killed. Florida State lost. Louisville lost. A bunch of ACC took a big L this week. Definitely the losers of this week. But I was thinking, like they went out. Let's just say that. Like, how's the committee gonna like look at them if they're like, who's their other wins, right? Like,
that's a good question.
I would imagine just the brand, the logo is going to put them in and everything. But it definitely, if it's between them and like Ohio State, like a 1-loss Ohio State or a 1-loss Oklahoma, they'll definitely put them in over Clemson.
But I think also the prestige and the history, Clemson's in it every single year. I feel like, especially if they start
the clout.
Especially if they start to click, and I mean, DJ starts looking really good, which I assume he will. I mean,
get those scrimmages with Wake Forest going.
Yeah, he'll put it together. So I could definitely see them getting in still.
Oh yeah, definitely. And well, if you remember a few years ago when when Clemson barely beat UNC, that was kind of UNC's kind of coming out party. The committee on the first rankings put them at 5, and everybody was freaking out. Oh, they're not the 5th best team. And I told everyone, I said, that's their warning to Clemson saying, hey, if you mess up, you're not making the playoffs. But if you win out, you're good. That's why that's a whole nother discussion. We'll probably discuss this when the college football playoffs rankings come out. Everyone overreacts. Let's relax here. They change so often in the second half of college football.
I was going to say, the last one is the only one that matters.
Exactly. So
anyway,
but other than that, UGA's front 7 was fantastic. We got some BS PI calls, but the one on the Kobe team was terrible.
Hey, if we didn't get 3 PI calls, I think
we got 4 in total, and three of them I was suspect about. 3 of them I was suspect about, but we had 4 in total.
Well, like I said, I mean, honestly, I'd be curious to see what Clemson's time of possession and yardage looks like without those PI calls keeping them on.
Oh yeah, definitely. Speaking of like the secondary, Darion Kendrick played fantastic. Yeah. I thought he played pretty well.
All those guys did. I mean, just knowing that most of them had never started before and never had gotten significant playing time, and then they're opening up against top 5, top 3 team.
That had to be one of the most. And here we go. We're gonna hype ourselves up. But I said on the last podcast, for those that were listening, if you haven't listened yet, go back because you'll hear how smart we are. I said it came down to the line of scrimmage. The Clemson, I think, only had 1 or 2 sacks, and UGA had 7.
And I think I said the same thing.
Clemson ran for -2 yards. That's what it came down to.
And I think I said something similar, but what I said was, we get a lot of pressure, at least last year, and I don't think we got the QB on the ground as much as I would like. We were disruptive, but we didn't finish. And I'm pretty sure I said that in the first pod,
I think you did too.
where I did say, I was like, if we can get DJ on the ground, we'll win this game. And what did we do?
The game really just came down to who was going to make that terrible mistake. And Clemson and DJ made it. JT threw a pick, but
yeah,
UGA's defense ended up stepping up. But definitely
anyway,
a defensive game. But we're gonna move on since it was nothing too exciting. We're not gonna fanboy too much. We're on the UAB over here. We're over the Clemson game on the UAB.
I'll be at the game, by the way.
Which game?
UAB tomorrow.
You're going to the UAB game?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I'm going too.
Okay. Well, we didn't know that. Everyone.
I did not know that. Oh, we linking up. Let's go. Are you leaving today or tomorrow?
I'm leaving tomorrow morning.
I'm leaving today. All right. I did not know that. Things you know. Anyway. Thank you to the podcast for figuring that out.
So let's talk about another game. We talked about ACC teams losing. Obviously, the other big build game of the week was Bama and Miami. I'd like to go on the record and say I called it Alabama would absolutely destroy them and it wouldn't be close. Honestly, I didn't think it would be as bad as what I saw, but I think it's pretty safe to say Bama's the best team in the country by a lot.
I think they definitely had the most dominating performance, and especially with teams like Oklahoma, who's struggling a little bit with Tulane, Ohio State struggling with Minnesota, Georgia, Clemson. I mean, I wouldn't say either of them dominated, but they definitely had the toughest opponents. But Alabama, Bryce Young was brilliant. It was
in their own stratosphere.
And something that I was stupid in, I said that it was going to take maybe a few drives, maybe a quarter or so for Alabama to start clicking on offense. I did say they were going to cover, which I was right, but I was going to say maybe a little suspect for no. They just went right down the field and scored like a 40-yard touchdown, wide open to Mechie, I think.
Yeah, Bryce.
And made it. Yeah, Bryce Young just did whatever he wanted.
He's been starting for 3 years. So.
Yeah, But with this thing, like all this clout with Alabama, everyone's loving on them. Okay. Not that they don't deserve it, and not that I don't think they're the best team in the country because, benefit of the doubt, it's like, here we go again. But is it possible that Miami just isn't that good?
Oh, 100%.
Is it possible? They looked atrocious out there. No team that should be ranked in the top 15 should be dominated that bad.
They get put up there every single year, and essentially the same team, or the same thing happens. I feel like they're just not good.
So can you guess this? So they're playing the Mercer Bears. Alabama is next week. Can you guess the spread for the game?
Ooh, that's tough. I'm going to go with 44.
53.5. That's ridiculous. Is it bad that I think they might cover too?
No.
Yeah, over under it's like 60.5. So they got the prediction score is 53-7 or something like that.
Mercer's in Georgia, right? Is that in?
Yeah, they're over by Macon.
Macon, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so they're over there. The Fighting Cliff Snyders. Cliff Snyder went there. Our good friend.
Come on the pod.
Yeah, come on the pod. The good friend of the pod, Cliff. If you're listening.
I mean, it's probably a good thing that he's not on the team right now.
Oh yeah, he's not there anymore. Yeah, I mean, he left just in time. No, that sounds miserable, and it's probably going to be hot over there. It all sounds terrible. But yeah, so there wasn't too many crazy games. I feel like
Oklahoma. Oh, I would disagree. Oklahoma
that we were talking about, that we talked about, but there was one that we did, Notre Dame, Florida State, that we both thought was going to be a blowout.
Yeah, I agree. Florida State surprised me, or maybe Notre Dame underwhelmed. I think, regardless, I didn't expect it to be that close. And honestly, at the end, I mean,
Mackenzie Milton
it was almost anticlimactic to see Notre Dame pull away at the very end after what should have been such a big upset.
They were up by 18 at one point, I think, going into the fourth quarter. And I was thinking, okay, this is over and everything. And then Florida State started coming back. Mackenzie Milton comes in. I don't know. I forget what the other quarterback's name was, but he had his helmet taken off. And, if you have your helmet taken off, you have to go out for a play. So Mackenzie Milton went in. And he threw like a 20-yard pass, and they just kept him in for the rest of the game. I'm like, poor guy over here lost his job potentially. Yeah. Lost his helmet.
That's even worse than the Bledsoe Tom Brady kind of thing. It's like injury goes down, never goes back in kind of thing. It's like this guy literally had his helmet off for one play and might not get his job back.
I know, and but Jack Cohn, I think the Notre Dame quarterback name is. He kind of balled. The
Yeah,
former
he threw for
Wisconsin
over
guy.
300 yards and what 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, he
Good.
balled, but they were stalling in the fourth quarter. Like that was terrible. And I don't know if you saw this, but after the game, Brian Kelly, they
He said
asked him
something
just some
about
question, and then he kind of switched it around. It was a poorly executed joke, but he's like, big believer of execution. Yeah, he's like, I think our whole team should be executed. That
Yeah,
was
they
coming
asked him
off like
about.
another coach from a while ago who asked how his team executed, and he said, "Yeah, I think my team should be executed or something." So I know what he was trying to do, but it was just
That's a little
poorly
morbid. Yeah,
executed.
that's like I want everyone on my team to be murdered, even though
He
I'm
had to
sure that's
apologize for
not.
that. Apparently, some people got really triggered off that. I'm like, relax, people.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I can.
calm down.
I guess
It
I
was
can see
obviously a
why.
joke.
Yeah,
Like he's gonna go kill his whole team and then get himself out of a job. Like
I mean, he had every reason to be upset though.
I know,
That
yeah.
game should not have been that
No, it
close.
shouldn't have. But then I was just about to ask, do you think this game was a case that everyone was underrating Florida State, or is Notre Dame over?
I think a little of both. I think Florida State might be, crawling out of the hole that they've been in for the last couple years, where they were just awful, awful, awful.
Notre Dame's got a tough schedule coming up. They got a lot of good
Good,
teams.
prove it.
Um,
I want them to prove it. I mean, my problem with Notre Dame's always been how they've kind of skated out of, their conference. So they
mhm.
don't have one. They schedule whoever they want, and then they make it into the playoff, and then they get smashed. And then I'm
Yeah,
kind of like,
exactly.
you shouldn't be
They
here.
got
So
Wisconsin, they got Cincinnati, they got Virginia Tech, they got
they
USC, and they
got
got UNC
Indiana, right?
all back to back.
They have Indiana this
Yeah.
year? Or
No, they don't.
I thought they did. Never mind.
But they got like Toledo and then Purdue, and then they got to go to Wisconsin, home against Cincinnati, at Virginia Tech, at home against
Dang.
USC,
Yeah, you're right.
home against UNC, all back to back. So like, what is that? Like 5 ranked matchups, all back to back to
Yeah,
back to back.
that's tough. I'll
So
give it to them. If they get through it, they'll get my respect.
Yeah. So
Well, we have that one.
we called on the pod, and I said the Virginia Tech UNC game. Sam Howell looked atrocious. I did call. I think I said I wasn't bold enough to do it, but I said that game was a little suspect. I said something about Blacksburg is a little sus.
They got a big stadium over there.
Yeah, they were rocking. I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw their little like entrance or whatever that they always do. Oh, it was hype.
I did not. I think I
Oh,
was.
it was big hype.
I was on a plane, so I caught the.
Well, I saw it like on Twitter, like the little thing. I'll send it to you. It was pretty amped over there. But another game that I kind of called that I said was a little suspect, Ohio State, Minnesota. Look at me. I was on a roll.
That game was close for a little bit, and then I think Ohio State
they ended up winning by like 14. But CJ Stroud was terrible in the first half, but he ended up balling in the second half. That one touchdown by Trevon Henderson, he's a freshman running back. Oh my goodness, on that screen, he just put on second gear.
No, I'm wondering though. I seem to remember looking at his stat line in the second half, and it was something like 5 passes for like 150 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And that made me think for a second. I was kind of like, hold on a second. I was like, everyone was like, he balled. But I'm like, do you think with that little number of passes and obviously that high amount of yards and touchdowns, do you think that those were like designed money plays? You know what I mean?
There was a few deep shots in there.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think those are, it just kind of makes me, not saying he's not good or something, but I'm kind of like, I think his stats might have been inflated. I think they were trying to maybe like get his confidence back up by throwing the good stuff out there,
Yeah. I mean, there were some wide open receivers, and one of his touchdowns was a screen and everything. But I thought he played pretty well in the second half. Minnesota, that defense is a little suspect. Minnesota kind of did whatever they wanted there, but it just wasn't
all over him. And then, unfortunately, it looks like he tore his Achilles there at the end.
They're right. Yeah.
That's got to be a very. That's just a sad way to start your season.
Oh yeah, nothing's worth. Nothing is worth.
A great team, almost beat them at home,
ball out,
and then, well, you fall short at the very end, and then lose your star running backs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel sorry for the Gophers.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully they get it together. We're with you. Row the boat.
Oh yeah.
But we're gonna stay in some Big Ten action. Wisconsin, Penn State. I don't think you saw this game, but it's pretty similar to the Georgia game. And honestly, might have been worse because there was like 3 separate occasions. I think there was like 2 or 3 where Wisconsin was like at goal line and they fumbled on one of them. They got a kick blocked and then they missed another field goal. So on the last drive, they Wisconsin, they were moving it down. They got to around the red zone, I think. And they had a dude wide open for a touchdown, bad throw, and would have been a touchdown with like 30 something seconds left. And then next play, dude throws a grounding, gets sent back 10 yards, 10-second runoff too, I think. And then he threw a pick on the last play. So, and then you go see Jack Cohn ball out. So it's Wisconsin maybe made the wrong choice at quarterback. I don't know. But I did call Penn State winning that one. So go me. And I think you did too. So
I think I did too.
But another game where there wasn't too much to talk about. We touched on Oklahoma and the Fighting Green Waves, Tulane Green Waves. But that was a classic game. Like Tulane went up 14-0. And then Oklahoma, started killing. I think it was like 31.
I think it was like 35-17, something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that. And if you're an OU fan, you're like, okay, we started off short, but now we're killing them. Like, whatever.
Yeah, I think that was the classic case. I mean, I think it was one of those things like Oklahoma kind of let off the gas.
Yeah.
And then
Tulane started coming back. And then they got an onside kick.
Yeah, I was going to say, they started kind of creeping back.
And Oklahoma they got that onside kick.
Yeah, we got this.
And the dude was a yard short.
Yeah, and
a yard short on that first down. I thought they had it in the bag when they got that onside kick. I was like, when they recovered that, I'm like, it's a category 6. Let's go.
It was going to be one of those miracle games,
Oh yeah.
And Super Bowl season 2 during Katrina. It's like,
oh yeah,
this was going to happen.
But good for them.
I felt it. And that quarterback for Tulane showed a lot of heart. I appreciate it.
You got. We respect the Green Waves over here. They balled out.
He went crazy. Dude he dove for it at the very end. He was really. Oh
yeah, when he started rolling out, I didn't think he was going to be close, but
I was going to say
it would have been awesome if they lost. That would have been pretty funny.
I feel bad for him. Like I said, also I'm starting to think too, if that game was played at home,
it was originally supposed to.
That's the thing.
The place would have been rocking.
So it makes me think. I was like, if you put up that much of a fight at Oklahoma. I mean, if you were at home, would you guys have lost that game?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I wonder how much with these teams, like, just in general, I guess if you're home or on the road, like UNC. Yeah. And I don't know if I mentioned it on the last pod or not, but like having a full crowd and everything, like how much that affects kind of people, because they win a year
and also
without like a big crowd or whatever.
I don't want to circle back too much, but do you think the crowd could have played a role in the defensive battles that were, I guess, Penn State, Wisconsin, and even Georgia, Clemson?
Definitely.
Do you think that made these offenses kind of like stumble a little bit? They haven't.
I think it's got to have some sort of effect. You have
guys on the team, right? So that means anyone who's a freshman or sophomore, or even people that have never like really played, like there might be juniors.
Yeah, they've never played. They've never played in front of a full crowd in college or anything.
Yeah, so I
don't know. 100.
That could be a huge difference. But anyway, I think that's about it for the week 1.
Unfortunately, here at the 6-0 podcast, we got to accept L's. I'd like to apologize to the 6-0 podcast fan base. We'll talk about this. LSU, UCLA.
Oh yeah.
I said LSU with my Jordan Stein lock of the week. They not only did not cover, but they also lost.
I didn't lock them in or anything, but I definitely remember saying I thought LSU was going to blow the doors off.
Oh yeah.
I apologize to you and
did you see Coach O, like when he was walking into the stadium, some guy was yelling something and
what I just said.
He was like Sissy Blues or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said
I
apologize to all UCLA fans and their Sissy Blue shirts.
Oh yeah,
I'm just messing.
They're going hard with that. Like they're making like shirts and everything about that, and so yeah, UCLA's looking like the best team in the South or the Pac-12 South, maybe even the Pac-12 because Oregon was looking.
I don't know. Maybe it just took that long for Chip Kelly's system to be implemented.
Yeah,
in
the
the
visor,
league's
man. I
health.
said that last week. The visor.
You got to buy in.
Little
I
eight
feel like
clap.
that's how all these coaches work. It's kind of like if you can actually get the players to all buy in, it's like
Mm-hmm.
you can't settle and you can't be like halfway in. If you can actually buy into the program, to the system, it's kind of like you can do a lot with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's about it for
Yeah, that's about it for week 1.
so we can move on to
Yeah.
college football week 2
Yeah,
discussion.
week two's not as exciting in my opinion.
Not nearly.
But
There are a couple
we
of
still
good
got some good ones. If we just want to talk about it a little bit and just make our picks.
Yeah, I'd say the
But
biggest game of the week's probably what? Ohio State, Oregon, or Iowa State?
it's either one of those two. We can go with Ohio State, Oregon first, since that's the Fox big new kickoff.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So I haven't seen. Has Oregon played yet? I haven't seen them
They
play.
played Fresno State last week. They won by 7. And
Ooh.
I don't know the update on this. I might want to look it up, but I'm pretty sure Kayvon Thibodeau, if you know who that is, the
Oh,
defensive
he's in a
end.
boot, right?
Yeah, he was in a boot at some point in the game. I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I have the NFL draft graphic behind me, so I definitely know about
How do you spell
Thibodeau. He's a
Kayvon?
projected
How do you spell his name?
top 5 pick.
Oh, is this it? Let's see. I want to know what's going on with this. No, I don't know if anybody's saying anything. Nobody's really saying anything. Maybe they were being like precautionary, but like, I never ended up hearing anything about that other than he was in a boot. But maybe they were being like a little precautionary with that.
Maybe. But
I have no
anyway,
idea.
whether
But
he plays or not,
he's got to step up in that game because
I was about to say whether he plays or not. I think Ohio State's taking that one.
yeah, they're
But I think
14 and a half, 14
Yeah.
and a half point favorites. Ohio State is.
for,
And the
Or-
horseshoe,
for Oregon to win, I mean Thibodeau would have to be
Yeah,
second throughout every other play.
I think Ohio State smacks them, honestly. Like
I do too.
CJ Stroud, like, who knows if it's first half performance with because of being in front of a crowd and first start and everything. Maybe he was a little too much in his own head, but he's got it over with. He's going to be at home. Got great receivers.
Yeah.
We saw how dynamic that offense is.
Yeah, I think they'll turn it on and be fun.
They'll turn it up, in my opinion. I personally think
Yeah, not much more to say about that.
not gonna be close. But
Iowa State.
Iowa State. Let's go.
Honestly,
I can't forget which side it was. It was either one of them was talking a little trash, like, yo, this is their Super Bowl. I think it was somebody from Iowa. He was like, yo, this is Iowa State's like Super Bowl. Like, we've been here before. We know what we're doing, kind of thing. One or the other. He's like, this game's way more important to them than us. And I'm like, why would you even like bring that up? But Iowa's actually been pretty good lately. I think dating back to last year, they've won like 9 straight or so. If I'm correct, Iowa State's 4.5 point favorites, but honestly, I might pick Iowa to win this game. I didn't know they were that good last or coming into last year.
So even
And they smacked Indiana.
I was about to, well, that's my thing. Because I was going to say even I don't know. Even though I picked Iowa State as possibly like my sleeper team to sneak into the playoff, I'm looking at what I saw last week because I considered Indiana to be pretty good. I thought. And
Yeah, they smacked them.
Yeah, they destroyed them. So I'm kind of like, hold on one second. This might be a really good game.
Oh yeah.
And I kind of like Iowa too, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think. This is who it was. Yeah, it was their running back, Goodson. I think he went to South Forsyth High School for a little bit and then ended up transferring.
I cannot confirm or deny that.
So he's a pretty good. I don't think when we were there. I think it was like after.
Yeah, we're old now.
Yeah, that's true.
No one, gosh, that's.
But yeah, he was the one that was talking a little bit of trash. But ABC, what time is it? 4:30. Like, what are these times? Let's get some primetime games going. But yeah, I think Iowa big take care of business. And does what they got to do there. I mean, I think that'll be an entertaining game though.
I agree. I think either way it'll be good, and I think either way.
Who wants the corn? Who wants the corn?
Iowa's just known for being a tough team, like
Yeah, I would. They're that team that's just like pretty good, and then just one year they're like really good, where they just like I say really good in quotes, like not playoff worthy or anything, but they're like in playoff contention.
Oh yeah.
So
when I think of Iowa, I think strong, tough, and like gritty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
So, but this is a big test for Iowa State though, so they can try to prove they can belong. They get the dub though, I'll be impressed. If they get the dub, if they can get the win,
this is a test.
I think they can split with Oklahoma between like the regular season and Big 12 championship or whatever.
Yeah.
But moving on to the next game, we got a little Big 8 rivalry, a little throwback rivalry, a little Texas Arkansas. Texas, I'll give them credit. I said they were going to lose. They did not. They won by like 20. Hudson Card was fantastic. Gotta give them credit on that one. Texas looked pretty good. Arkansas, I think they won last week, but I don't know. They played Rice or something like that. They took care of business. Yeah. Texas 7-point favorite. The Fighting JTs. JT, if you're listening to this, shout out to you. Pig Suey all the way. Coach Pittman.
Coach Pittman, come on the podcast.
Yeah, Coach Pittman, come on the podcast. He gave me a yes, sir, after the Tennessee game. A low-key yes, sir, though, but I got it.
I remember that.
Funny story with that, too. And then my brother's like, he said something like, I only give it to recruits. And my brother's like, give me a scholarship right now. I'll come in on the spot. And he just laughed and just left. I'm like, come on, coach. Speaking of this, I want to throw it back real quick about like meeting people. Kurt Herbstreit gave him a fist pump. He said that was a good win. And I said, preach. I said, let's go, Kurt. So that was pretty hype.
You're basically famous. Hanging out with LaMelo and Kurt.
I know. I'm balling out over here. But
Charlotte, they were hanging out with you, actually.
Yeah, they were hanging out with me, to be honest. The first episode of the podcast, man, it changes you when it comes out. I've gone Hollywood. Yeah. I've gone Hollywood. It's in my head. Yeah, I'm just living the dream now.
He's like, is that Jordan from the Six-0 podcast?
He's like, oh my God.
Whispering to the guy next to him.
Can I have your autograph? Sure, whatever. My
like,
security guards are like, whoa.
I was about to say, his bodyguard's got to talk to your security guards, got to make sure that everything.
Yeah, make sure, see the vibe check is all good. Yeah. But with this game, what?
So we'll be there one day.
Oh yeah, definitely. Maybe after episode 2, who knows? But with this game, Texas, Arkansas, my head says Texas. They're 7-point favorites, but my heart says Pig Suey. I'm going Arkansas with the upset. Cut the JT. Wow. Let's go. Give me the shout out. Pig Suey. Let's go. But my head says Texas, so like I'm kind of bailing myself out on that one.
Yeah, I was going to say my head says Texas. My heart says I would love to see Coach Pittman get that.
Yeah,
I still have a soft spot for him, even though he's still.
Oh, no beef. Yeah. He wouldn't have left if he literally with the O-lineman coach and got a head coaching job. Like I can't blame you on that one. And he was gonna stay in Athens if Arkansas never hit him up. So, and Arkansas was how they were so bad without him, and he made them decent. I don't remember how many wins they had. They were probably like 4. They were like 4-6, but no, they were terrible before he got there, and he made them pretty competitive. And he made Felipe Franks look pretty decent, so I respect that.
I would love to have him get that win for the program, but I think I don't know.
Texas too talented. I agree.
Texas has too many guys.
Yeah.
I don't even like Texas that much, but I still think they're a little bit outclassed there. So not much of a Texas guy. So a game that I think could be someone that can cover is Miami Appalachian State. Miami's 9-point favorites. I think App State could cover. They might not win outright, but I think they can definitely cover. I think they can hang around with Miami and everything. I'm not just saying that because they got destroyed by Bama. I mean, who isn't in that club? But like, App State's always been a respectable program and everything. So I think they could cover on that one. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know they were playing.
I don't know anything on their team, but
down on my notepad. So you got to tell me whatever else games you want to talk about today.
We'll go through like 3 more. So shout out to Ben Crumby on this one. We got all the sources on this one. We got to represent. But NC State, Mississippi State, and this one's a close one. NC State's only favored by a point. It's in Mississippi State, but Mississippi State didn't look too hot last week. I don't know how the Mike Leach experiment's going. Let's see. They beat Louisiana Tech by a point. And NC State, like, I don't know. We're talking about the ACC taking some L's. If NC State can go into Starkville and get the dub, I mean, that could give them some clout. Sure. I mean, they return a lot of guys, so like they could easily just win that. I mean, they're favored on the road and everything. So, but here's a little interesting game, maybe a low profile game though. Utah BYU, the Holy War, the Mormons versus the other Utah people. I guess the Mormons versus Mormons. I don't know. But that game could be pretty good. The Holy War, you know, I always think there's like big beef going into that game. Yeah, so I think I'll go with Utah. I think Utah's pretty good, like for Pac-12 standards. But
yeah, I haven't seen either of them play yet. But
probably
I'd probably say based on
why not?
The past couple of years, I'd probably say Utah.
Why not? Right.
They always have a pretty good offense.
I see this game right here that I just want to just say for a second. LSU versus McNeese.
Oh, hold on. Did you hear about this?
Yes, that's what I was going to bring up. If you're thinking what I'm thinking.
Yes. Coach Orgeron's son is the starting quarterback for Michigan State.
Isn't that weird? Like, we got to his job is basically make his son confused as hell.
Yeah.
And just make your son look terrible.
And sack him,
and just kill him.
Go destroy my son with my 5'4" and 5
little Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker action kind of. But
that's a little
that's a little interesting tidbit there. I don't know.
We played McNeese a couple years ago, didn't we? Maybe. I don't know.
Probably. I don't know. I can't keep up with all these teams. Washington, Michigan, I think could be a pretty good game. Washington took a big L. They lost to Montana. Yeah. And I thought Washington could have been a little bit of a sleeper in the Pac-12. But then again, it's the Pac-12, so they still could be. But Michigan's 6.5 point favorites? I don't know. Washington's defense is pretty good. It's just their offense took a big L. Let's see. 13-7. They only scored 7 points.
Disgusting.
Michigan got one of the receivers out, Ronnie Bell. He tore his ACL last week, which is tough because Michigan doesn't have too many receivers. AJ Henning looked pretty good though. Georgia was recruiting him, and I wanted UGA to get him. But instead he went to Michigan. I don't know why you do that, but and again, do whatever you want. Right? Huh?
Both of Michigan's QBs had in number 12. What's the name?
Yeah, they're Michigan might be pretty bad. I could see I could see Washington winning that.
They put in that freshman QB though, who rolled all the way out to the right and chopped it 70 yards back across the left side for a touchdown, and everyone was like, "That was something we."
Was that JJ McCarthy, or was he the one that started?
Yeah, no, McCarthy was a guy who came in and had a crazy play. If you haven't seen that, look it up. It was very. I don't know. It was. I hate making the comparison, but it was kind of Mahomes-esque. He rolls all the way out to the right and throws across his body, across the field.
It's those weird kind of distort the rows and everything. And
like I said, he threw it across his body all the way back across the other side of the field, hit his receiver in stride for a 7-yard touchdown.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll go with the last. We'll go with the last game. We're running through it quick because we're going through it. We're on our lunch break right now for work.
Yes, we're at work. Right?
Yeah, so this is how much we love you people.
But
all
in the future,
5 of you.
In the future, this will be our work. So
that's true.
Consider it an investment.
Yeah, that's true. So
when we quit our jobs to become full-time.
100%. But let's do this one real quick. Little Pac-12 after dark. USC Stanford. USC played San Jose State. They won 30-7.
Stanford lose.
Yeah, they did lose. So they're on 1. They're starting a new quarterback. They lost to Kansas State 24/7. I feel like Stanford and Kansas State's got to have some sort of rivalry because I feel like they play a lot. But 101st meeting between Stanford and USC. Fun fact.
Well,
So,
USC is going to win 101.
Yeah, they're 17-point favorites. I think they take care of business. But week 2, like I said in the beginning, wasn't too exciting. So yeah, not too much to talk about with that. Week 3 might be pretty cool though. I don't know. We'll figure it out next week.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I feel like when we start entering conference play, it could get pretty. Ooh, yeah, a little Florida, Alabama.
No, don't go
I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm just looking at the games. But yeah, when it gets in the conference play, I'll probably get a little more lit. But yeah, week 2, few good games, but nothing too crazy. The NFL did start yesterday. If we want to touch on that real quick,
I actually would. So, like I said, today's Friday. I don't know when this video will get posted, but the first NFL game was last night. We had a very good game actually between the Buccaneers and the Cowboys. Better than I thought. I was not expecting the Cowboys to kind of put on a show for us, especially with Dak coming back. And
he threw like 60 times.
Yeah, and against that Buccaneers stacked defense, I kind of thought, that they might have gotten embarrassed on a Thursday night.
Big time. Big time.
And yeah, they were winning until 7 seconds left in the game, and then I shouldn't say it makes it sound like they were up the whole game, but they had the lead.
Yeah. Well, the big play was.
And would it be NFL football without Tom Brady getting constantly bailed out in winning games?
He got bailed out.
Also throwing 2 interceptions. Wow.
Well, I'm gonna sim for Tom here. Those 2 interceptions, one was on a Hail Mary and the other one was on a drop pass from Leonard Fournette that just laid in the Cowboys guy's hands. Not blaming Tom on that one, but it looked like 2014 out there. And Antonio Brown was balling out. Yep, Gronk had 2 touchdowns. Tom Brady balled. That looked like 2014 over again with that one. Gotta love Gronk though, big Gronk guy over here. But yeah, and with that too, like the biggest play of the game that I thought was huge, it would have ended the game, was Chris Godwin fumbles at the 1. Like, dude, what are you doing? Cowboys pick it up. They end up driving, and they missed a few field goals, and they could have easily won that game. And not to mention that was a total offensive pass interference on Chris Godwin. It was easy. But since I think the NFL's rigged is when like that happened, I had zero reaction to it. Like I knew they weren't going to call that at all. And I don't know if you saw this too, the stupid taunting penalty. One Bucks dude gets punched in the face by a Cowboys guy, and he gets a taunting penalty. I'm like, he got punched in the face. Yeah, I'm like, what is this? Like, that was stupid. The taunting penalty is going to – I know for a fact the taunting penalty is going to lose somebody a game, and Twitter will go off. It's going to lose somebody a game. I think the
you know what the NFL does too. They like to change the rules almost every year. Like they'll put something in for one season and then they'll take it out. So if it really gets that bad of a reaction, then they'll just like take it out.
Well, I think one of the Giants owners or something, one of the lead guys with that, he was like, nobody wants to see taunting. Okay, there's different levels of taunting. Like I feel like a taunting penalty is like one of those like, you know when you see it kind of thing.
I mean, it's gotta originate, I think, from I would say probably during the
little peace thing in the Super Bowl.
I was gonna say in the Super Bowl, yeah, when Winfield came up to Tyreek Hill when he was laying on the ground and did the peace sign.
Yeah, I mean, I would have called that one, but there's some like from the preseason, like some dude got a first down and he looked at the guy, he's like, get off of me.
Yeah.
And they get the flag for that. Like, come on.
And then they called 15 on him. I was like, come on now.
Yeah, I know. Like it's gonna be extremely painful, but Dak balled out. Good for Dak though. Dak balled. He even had Michael Gallup out for most of the game.
Dak looked really good.
He did look good.
And not even for his leg, but his shoulder too. His
right he had a messed up shoulder too. He balled out.
Like, he looked very accurate. He looked very calm as well, which I was almost surprised to see.
Well, there was one play with a low snap, and he was trying to figure out how to get the ball, gets it, and then just throws it to Amari Cooper.
An injury like beauty. That, I felt like I was very I was very surprised to see him as poised as he was, in the pocket and
And they're
stuff. You
letting him
kind of
throw
think he'd be
60
a little
times. I
scared.
mean, they obviously believe in him. It wasn't like they were trying to like shorten the leash or anything, or just be
Speaking of
like,
that,
yeah, maybe
though,
we'll look around, like try to ease them into it. No, they just let him
Zeke
start
had like
chucking.
less than 10 touches,
Oh,
didn't
Zeke
he?
is a fullback now.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
saw that.
he's a fullback now. No, he was
But
terrible.
I couldn't. I think Tony Pollard might be better than Zeke.
Yeah,
I mean, he's just
it's
no
kind of
longer
been
good.
hinted from what I've seen on Twitter. Like Cowboys fans are saying, like Tony Pollard's like when he gets his
He runs hard.
opportunity, he makes it work.
I
So
was gonna say he comes in and he'll get like a 12-yard run and then they'll take him out and we won't see him again. I'm like,
yeah,
come
and
on.
like in fantasy too. Like when I was looking through that first round, I was like, absolutely do not want to get stuck with Zeke.
No,
Absolutely not. I'm like, that's the one.
isn't he?
That is like the one guy on
He's
top
like
of my list that I try to avoid.
he's like I think they said he was the first running back in history to have declining rushing stats as however long he's been in the league. Like he had the most
No,
rushing
he's
yards.
been dropping off real
I was
quick.
gonna say he had like 1,600 yards as a rookie, and he's gone less every
Mhm.
single.
Yeah.
Now I was buying in, from the hard knocks.
What did he get suspended for his second year? Remember that whole thing? What did he do?
I don't know,
Was it
domestic
like
abuse,
PEDs or something
probably.
like that? I don't know.
No, I thought it was domestic. I thought it
Oh
was
yeah, you might be right.
beating
I
up
was
a
gonna
girl.
say maybe that was what, but no, I think you're right. But yeah, but some things never change with Tom Brady. You knew right when the Cowboys hit that field goal. You knew they were gonna go down and score. That too much time and everything. Well, a big penalty was I think they got a first down, and there ended up being a holding penalty, and that was the biggest play right there. But yeah, but Tom Brady still got it. Still looked absolutely brilliant out there. He's never. When is he gonna leave?
I was about to
It's
say,
it's honestly it's
dude's
honestly
gonna play. But I keep wondering, it's kind of like I wonder if he'll just fall off a cliff, but I can't see it happening. But it's kind of like what happened with Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning came
yeah,
from,
just that
like
one year
almost
you just. Hmm.
he threw like, he was still throwing 40 touchdowns or something of those couple years in Denver. He threw that one year with what, 57 or something like
Yeah, I
that.
wonder if it'll be like a slow decline or if it's just gonna be
And
like you
then
said,
and
like
then the
Peyton Manning.
next year, yeah, Peyton Manning came off and he was just like he looked like his arm just didn't work at all anymore. And I was like, how did that happen? It
Yeah,
wasn't gradual at all. I don't know. You saw it with a lot of guys. I feel like guys like, maybe Eli Manning, it was very gradual.
yeah,
And then they held on, the Giants held on to Eli for, I'd say, 3 years too long.
yeah,
And they just kept letting him get worse and worse. But I don't know.
yeah. I feel like the Steelers are doing that with Big
I
Ben
feel
too.
like with Tom, he looks the same. He's just,
Yeah.
he
Um,
doesn't
an interesting
affect
thing I
you.
heard too during the broadcast was after this Bucks game for the Cowboys, they don't play a playoff team a playoff team from last year until week 11.
Saw that.
What is
Yeah,
this?
you know why? Because I bet they're playing their own division, and their own division is terrible.
Well, even if they were, the football team would have been
That's true.
great name. We're big football team guys. But the football team, they don't play. I guess that's the team they would play in
I
week 11.
kind of want a team. I want a name change.
You want to what? You wanted to
Well, you
change?
said we're big. I see.
I just
Okay,
assumed you were on the bandwagon.
listen. I
The football
like
team's
it.
where that.
I understand, but also to me, it doesn't match with everyone else. There's no other football team
That's
that's
what makes it
named.
awesome.
No, but it doesn't. Every other team in the league has a mascot, so I'm kind of like I think they need to go back, which I'm hyped for, by the way. I can't wait to see the rebranding next year.
No, they got to keep it.
No,
Yes, they got to keep it.
I want to see the Red Wolves.
Red Wolves. What's that got to do with DC? I don't know.
I don't care. It just has red in the beginning. It's kind of like how the Indians changed their name to the Guardians, and they kept the DIANS on the end.
I guess. I don't know. Football team's worth that, though.
Redskins, the Red Wolves.
The Red who?
That
don't
was
want
their
to be
old name.
canceled.
I'm not going to be canceled. That was their old name.
I don't know. You gotta be a suspect. You gotta watch out. I don't know. You never know who's out there listening to the
I
pod.
didn't say anything about it. I just said that was their old name. Objectively, that is a fact. So anyway, I think that's about it for
Yeah.
episode 2 of the 6-0 podcast.
Let's go.
We still haven't told our viewers why our podcast has its name, but we will later on.
Comment below why you think we're the 6-0
Oh,
podcast.
yeah.
There you go. But yeah, Spotify link in the description. Subscribe, turn the notifications on. Did I do it right this time?
I think so.
Yes. Okay.
We're new to this.
Twitter, Instagram. I haven't made it yet, but I'm making it when I post this. All down below. Follow us. We're gonna be spinning facts as always. Sorry for the quick episode. We didn't do too much.
Probably wasn't that quick. Probably we should say for the quick preparation of the episode.
Yeah.
And it being over Zoom, we'll usually have better quality. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll be
shout out to Zoom. Zoom executives come on the podcast.
Yes.
Sponsor us.
Yes. Give us a sponsorship. If you give us a sponsorship, we'll do Zoom every single episode.
Oh yeah. I'll do anything for the sponsor.
Yeah, just $1 million an episode and we'll do it. Each.
It's like Friends. Yeah. We're just gonna make $1 million an episode, and
we're gonna be the podcast version of Friends, honestly.
we need 4 more people.
Oh no.
4 more people come on the podcast.
Yeah, put your application.
Anyone come on the podcast.
Put your applications in. The resume. I don't know.
It's a long list.
Yeah, so that's all right. Well, we're out of here. We got to work. My lunch break ended a minute ago, so I'm gonna start working and doing a job and doing adult stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Peace out, 6-0 fans.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. By the way, I want to give a shout out real quick. Shout out to the Low Blow podcast. I'm putting their description down below.
Yes.
Our broskies, Granddaddy Longlegs, Papa Smee, Papa Smee. Shout out to them. They're our broskies. Hopefully they give us a shout out on the next episode because we're giving them one. If they don't, then they're dead to us. But it's cold in the podcast game.
Well,
yes. Shout out to them. Okay, now we're out of here. Peace out.